Hey there, and welcome to part 5 of the Spriggan Artificer. So, on the last episode, I finished up dungeon down to 15. As far as I remember, the dungeon, the Orcish mines were finished on the last run too. So, next up on the plate will be either Snake or Swamp. And considering that I have our poison available, I'm pretty good with both of them. But what I'm lacking is resistance from fire, so I'm gonna prefer Swamp over Snake Pit because Snake Pit is full of salamanders and they seriously can ruin your day if you're not running some fire resistance. And there we are. So let's have a look, see at our spells. Not too much so far. Not too much so far. So this is pretty dangerous. That's why I actually stepped down the alligator in the deep water where I lost the gold, which is unfortunate, but I'll rather take the one shot on the alligator, to be quite honest. So let's start clearing this out. The insubstantial wisps are a lot less dangerous if you're actually resistant to electricity, which I am. And I'm gonna take this alligator upstairs because they're really scary persons. Alright, there we go. So keep up the regeneration when fighting, and turns out I'm having a lot of trouble dealing with this tyrant leech, which is why I run to the wrong direction first and start kiting, because I'm also quicker than these dudes. So regen and start killing. I don't want to get mixed between the mosquitoes and the tyrant leech there. So it's not immune to negative energy, it's just leeching up like crazy. Alright, there we go. With this kind of character, it's always pretty important to flee before the fight gets too tense, because with that low base HP, I always gotta be careful. So there we go. I really hope that some RF source will show up along the run here, because I really don't want to show my face down in the swamp, down in the snake pit without some RF, because those salamanders really hurt like crazy without RF. But so far, swamp looks pretty good for me. Gotta be careful with the more spooky enemies showing up and the insubstantial wisps killing the spiny frog for me with their electric arcs spreading over to the frog. Some creative enemy killing here. So there's the next bunch of mosquitoes. I think I'm gonna go upstairs again, and I don't want to get into situations like these where too many enemies at once can pelt me down. I'm gonna go here. 2 of them is enough. I don't need 3. Put up the regen, kill off the wisp, and get back into this. Alright. I'm really hoping that I will find some more good spell books along the way. Oh well, might as well airstrike him a little from far to do some initial damage. Why not? I had a lot of trouble killing off the first one, so I want to be a little bit more careful. So let's repeat that. That works pretty well here. Does some good damage up front. So the most important question here will be what happens when I face my first shambling mangrove, and what happens when I face my first thorn hunter. These 2 enemies are actually the thing I'm most afraid of down here, and Hydra, of course. But let's have a look at my skill training here. Alright, covering up the stealth more and more. Looking pretty good. Since I didn't find any other spellbooks, playing and talking is sometimes pretty difficult. Since I didn't find any other spell books, I'm totally okay with leveling up my defenses and my weapon skills here to a decent spot. Because what should I do else? I mean, I'm having some ranged option with airstrike, so I'm pretty okay with that. I don't need to level up throwing or something like that. So new scroll, which turned out to be fog. That's cool. Fog scrolls can be really useful from time to time to block lines of sight. But so far, this is looking really good. So there's my first 7-headed Hydra down here. I could use some wands, but I actually don't want to. I want to try how good this will work if I airstrike it and carefully start stabbing it. Yeah, the pain branding does a lot of damage here. So there's another scroll. At this point of the game, I don't like to just read scrolls like that, because you can waste some really valuable and rare scrolls like that. So there's the first mangrove combined with a Spriggan Rider. I don't like that too much, because the Spriggan Rider is pretty quick, and I want to get rid of this guy first before I fiddle around with the mangrove. But turns out the mangrove lost tracks of me, so there we are. They root me, which reduces my movement speed to 0.9 per turn, which is not terrible at all. So what are my chances to polymorph it? 30%. So I feel like I want to reduce the amount of tiles next to me before going into this, and wow, that really hurt. That hurt actually way too much. Nope. I'm gonna teleport out of this here. I don't want to be part of this anymore. So might as well stab some, but this won't work like that. Admit that this corner where I wanted to fight this guy was not ideal at all. So I gotta think of something different to get rid of these. But here's the thing. You don't need to kill everything and crawl to win the game. So I'm just letting this guy be there and be happy with it. So there's the Thorn Hunter I was talking about. But I don't want to wake it up. Let's take another staircase here. Thorn Hunters are really spooky. I think they can really mess me up hard due to the high damage they can do. And I just realized that against these guys, airstrike should be really awesome. And I'm right. So this is not cool. Hydra and Leech are way too much, even if it's only a 4-headed Hydra. And this guy hurts a lot. So let's kite him a little. Blast down some airstrikes. You miscast airstrike, you feel electric. Alright. So I feel electric now. And there's the mangrove again. Yikes. So I gotta keep running here. Go upstairs. And heal up. And get down there again. Even while rooted, I'm still quicker than both of these guys, and in no scenario ever I want to fight both of them at once. So almost went back to that bad corner there. So let's get rid of the leech. That's done. And let's have a look-see at this guy again. So it's 91 HP, and it's resistant to poison and immune to negative energy, so that's why this fight went so badly. That was my bad here. I should go for the electrocution weapon, and so I can still run if things go really badly here. I'm gonna put up some fight and see if the electrocution weapon works better. So I'm actually dealing a lot more damage than before. There go the hornets, which really are troublesome, but I want to get rid of the mangrove first so I can kite the hornets. Because while the root effect is in place, I can't kite them because I'm too slow to do so. So, alright, with the electrocution brand it seems like I'm able to kill them, which is really nice. Yeah, let's airstrike that thing. Alright, so let's have a look down here. There's that Hydra. I feel like a four-headed one should be doable with a shield and that evasion rating. So let's get down there and carefully start stabbing, but I'm feeling pretty okay with this fight. Yeah, I was right. So let's airstrike this guy again and poke him down, just like that. Alright, so mangroves I really have to handle with care, and I feel like thorn hunters are the same. How to deal with that? This guy is really vulnerable to fire, but I'm not having any flaming weapon, sadly. And so I'm gonna wake him up with airstrike and hopefully get him into my face. So there we are. So I gotta be careful about that. It's also immune to negative energy, just like I expected. So let's rather switch over to the Elex sword and start whacking. Alright, that worked out. So I can airstrike this swamp drake. Alright, so I managed to kill off a thorn hunter and a mangrove without dying, or getting super close to dying. That relieves me a little. So there's another Sprig rider. Same thing as before. Airstrike works a charm here. And there's Power Mode's Ghost. So that's a demon spawn monk with a ton of AC and a lot of HP. Pretty spooky, but that's okay, he's a ghost, so it's actually okay for him to be spooky. So what I'm gonna do about this guy, I feel like the Holy Wrath longsword might be pretty good, but then again he deals a terrible amount of damage, so I'm not gonna fiddle around this without a staircase inside. So another good thing about ghosts is you can airstrike them pretty well, because ghosts always fly. And I'm getting a lot of damage here. Taking a few more swings, but no, actually not doing any damage at all, sadly. But I expected as much. My long blade skill is terrible. So let's switch over to another staircase. Maybe if I go Elec, this might work better. Ouch. So this staircase is not too cool either. What about that? No. Looks like I gotta take it the hard way here. But I'm really concerned, because this situation is really dangerous in general. How am I gonna solve that? I could just Ice Blast down the Thorn Hunter, or at least try to. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Or what are my other options? I have a Scroll of Vulnerability available, but no, that's not doing anything. So let's start Ice Blasting this thing. Go upstairs with it. Go for Elec and start whacking. I need to put up regen again, and wow, that hurts. So I'm gonna Potion Petition here. The first one is for free. Resistance, Might, and Haste look pretty cool to me, but I want to put up a Curing Potion before fighting on, because my HP were up a little bit super low. So 2 Thorn Hunters in 1 level. That sucks. Wow. Getting chunked like that sucks too. So I'm gonna off a Flight Potion to avoid the slow from the water here, because alligators are really quick in water and that could screw me over pretty hard. So I'm not gonna bother trying to die for nothing, but this is not really better at all. So let's go over to the pain branded again and kill off the first enemy here. That hurt a lot. I need 2 heal wounds here because this is getting nowhere. If I can't just get one shot here by these guys. So let's get rid of the swamp worm and the alligator now too. The thing about sprint is it's only enhancing their move speed, not their attack speed. It's pretty important to keep in mind. So what's about this ring? My pack is full. I don't like it when my pack is full. So what about these spells? I can't use the animate spells. Vampiric Draining. I want to learn Vampiric Draining. This spell might actually be really useful for me. Control Undead is also pretty cool, but not necessarily good for me right now. So I'm going to drop these books for now. And let's have a look at this ring. It's a ring of wizardry. That might come in handy at some point, but not right now. I have no higher level spells I want to use, so I don't need extra wizardry, because there are no spells to use it on, but maybe I can make use of that later. I don't know yet. So that's a bunch of flying guys here. I want to kite it back a little. Good thing about the Spriggan riders is that they're wielding pole arms, which means they'll not get close to the staircase to follow me up, unless I do it like that. But I'm actually okay with this because one by one I can kill them off pretty easily. Alright. Airstrike is pretty good against these dudes too. And I feel like I'm pretty okay with stealth for now, but I want to have some more air magic. The failure rate on Airstrike is too high for my taste, and I start relying on this spell more and more. So what's up with my macros here? That's C, that's B, that's A. I want to have that for D. Yeah. So I have Airstrike on my macro now, because turns out I'm really using this spell a lot. Good thing about Airstrike is that it doesn't need a clear line of sight, which means you can use the spell even if something is blocking your line of sight. Very, very useful against certain enemies, like summoners or something like that. So they're also immune to negative energy, so let's swap over to the Elect Short Sword. That does a lot more work against these. Swamp features a lot of negative immune enemies. And I get marked. Let's get out of here. I mean, most of this level is cleared, so Mark is not screwing me up as hard as it could. But yeah, there's Power Mode's Ghost again. Gotta run around here. And I just realized that potentially I can just airstrike him down until he's dead, because he'll never reach me, even with water tiles. But airstrike doesn't do enough damage to finish him off, sadly. So how I'm gonna do this? I wanna kill him because it's power mode. Nah, jokes aside, it's a bunch of XP, but I don't see me winning this anytime too soon, so I'll just avoid him for now. We're gonna take care of you later, my friend. So there's still this corner down here unexplored. I want to go there, but this ghost just keeps being on my heels. So I'm gonna wait some, but I think he would. No, he's not for. He doesn't forget me here. So I want to reach the last corner of this level before going downstairs. There's a lot of unexplored area left. And there's another leech. Yeah, they're not immune to negative energy, so pain will do some work here. Keep up the regen. So fighting went to 12, which is really good. And even though my aptitude here is -2, I don't plan on putting it off for quite a while, because fighting increases your max HP. And I'm really lacking max HP on this character. So every single source of some HP is highly desirable. That's why I don't want to put down fighting here. And also worth noting is that a high value in fighting also increases your damage and to hit potential. Only marginally, but you will notice the difference if you're sitting on 20 plus fighting skill. So hydrate, swim quickly. Let's do the airstrike thing again and slowly start stabbing, but I want to stand over here to be able to run away if necessary, so that worked out pretty cool. Turns out my evasion is high enough to kite their attacks pretty well. That's cool. So there's another alligator, but I was able to stab him. That's really fortunate because alligators so far turned out to be the most dangerous enemies down here. There's another mangrove. Oh well. Mangroves are actually more dangerous than alligators, to be quite honest. Swamp dragon, eh? Okay, woke up. I don't like this situation. I want to run away a little because I don't want to mix up the mangrove together with these two enemies. That sounds a little bit too spooky for me. So there we are. I'm wielding the wrong weapon here. So first attack was a backstab attack, which did a lot of damage. So there go the hornets. And like the last time, I need to finish off the mangrove first before starting to run away. And I feel like airstriking these guys. Turn on the regen and keep killing. Alright, that worked out pretty decently. And that's why I want to bring up some more air magic, because I feel like airstrike can do a lot for me. Okay, so whoa, what's that? That's a Spriggan wielding an enchanted ledger tang. That's spooky. And I stepped into a teleport trap. How unfortunate. So I want to go upstairs. Have some me time with this spiny frog here. And there's Power Mode's ghost. But luckily I'm pretty stealthy, but here, he noticed me, so we're gonna run away again. Like I said, my friend, we're gonna finish our business later. Let's get over here. There's a bog body. They're also immune to negative energy, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Most undead are immune to negative energy, in fact. So this looks pretty doable, but I need to regen. The swamp drake is actually helping me, so I'm not killing him off. Keeps confusing the swamp worm for me, which is totally okay for me. Alright, there we go. There's a flame wand. That's what I like to see. It's pretty useful. So let's start airstriking them. It works pretty good in them too. There's an enchanted boots of pair of boots, but I can't wear boots. Spriggan feet are too small for boots. Alright, so looks like we're done with Swamp 3. And still no source of RF showed up, which is really troublesome. That's a Scroll of Torment, nothing I want to use. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully stick my head into this level here. I'm only having one scroll of magic mapping, which is not enough for my taste to use it here. So I feel like I'm standing right next to the vault, to the rune vault, so I'm rather gonna try out another staircase. I don't feel too comfortable starting out next to the rune vault because it's gonna be filled with lots of baddies. So I prefer to clear out the level first a little. Cover some ground, and there's Mara. Fuck. So I'm gonna exclude this area here completely because I don't want to wake this guy up accidentally, because Mara is one of those uniques I really don't like to take care of. It's always some super annoying fight, and also pretty dangerous, especially since I don't have RF. And Mara uses a lot of fire spells, and there's Bicisen, so I'm gonna come back here later. This is way too much for me to handle for now. I'll rather go for Snake Pit without fire resistance before trying to clear out a level with Bicisen and Mara. So let's head over to the Snake Pit for now. I think that's a good thing to do. And there's a first Shock Serpent. I really hate these people. But luckily I'm resistant to fire. So I'm gonna airstrike for now for some guaranteed damage. Something I really value about airstrike, that it's a spell which can't miss. There's my first Anaconda. These things are really, really scary because they have a lot of movement speed. And I feel like they are one of the biggest threats down here. So I just realized how much gold I have, so let's get back to dungeon, where I set up some nice merchant plaza. Let's expand that. Let's call a merchant. So I can call a bookshop, and I think, well, jewelry emporium would be pretty interesting too. Come on, cat. But I will prefer the bookshop for now because I want to be able to cast spells. This is a very costly bookshop. Damn. So let's have a look at those spells. This book is not too interesting, actually. Death Channel is pretty interesting for me, because for a Death Channel I don't need corpses. Spatial Translocations is great. There are a lot of good spells in there. Gloop, Passage, Blink, and Beckoning are really, really good spells. This is not too interesting. Transfigurations has Irradiate and Statue Form, but not exactly what I'm looking for. Aura of Abjuration, but that's more a thing for extended. I feel like I'm gonna buy this highly overpriced book of Spatial Translocations because Blink is super awesome to have. Shroud is also pretty good. Lesser Beckoning is a must-have, and Passage of Galubria as well. So that's a lot of stuff I picked up here, but these are quality spells I really want to use. So Shroud is already at a very castable point, so I'm gonna swap this over with Shock. And that's another nice thing about being a Spriggan. Your aptitude for translocations is absolutely bonkers. So what I'm gonna do here, I feel like Short Blades 13 is really enough, because I will hit min delay on the rapier on 14, and you won't notice that much difference between a skill value of 13 or 14, but translocations will do a lot of good stuff for me, especially once I have passage available. It's getting more and more difficult to die if I play aware of my situation. So there's a Naga warrior. I'm gonna airstrike him a little. And it's resistant to poison, but not resistant to negative energy. So let's start stabbing him. And turns out I was very able to kill him off. So a rune hand crossbow, that's something I'm pretty tempted to use. New scrolls lying around, so that's pretty cool. Let's keep identifying those. Holy word. Very cool thing, but more often than not used somewhere else. So I dropped this venom weapon because I don't feel like I'm gonna use it too much anymore. And splatting some mambas. Smoking glaive. Sadly, I'm a Spriggan, so I can't use that. That's a big bunch of Naga. I really want to run away for now and see what follows me. Sharpshooters are especially dangerous for me because they really like to wield very hard-hitting ranged weaponry. And they also use portal projectile, which means they can hit you even if their line of sight is blocked. So, well, I've got to take this up front, I'm afraid. Turn up the regen, which is really important, but the reflection here really does a lot of work for me. That's cool. So I have enough money for potion petition again, and I feel like I can't really get rid of those stones. I don't need them anymore. Some fruit, let's eat that. There's the Naga sharpshooters. I'm standing around this corner and starting to fight them once they're close enough. Keep the regen going. So I can beckon this guy. Lesser beckoning is a very useful spell in general. Whoa, yeah. That's what I expected. Naga warriors are really beefy persons, so can take some while to take them down. There's another sharpshooter, but he didn't notice me yet. Now he has noticed me, but he's standing in a perfect spot. So translocations levels up crazily quick. But yeah, that's what you're gonna get with an aptitude of +4. Alright, so I want to step around this corner here. With frail races, it's very important to cut corners for line of sight as much as possible. So there's another Naga warrior. I feel like softening him up a little with airstrikes might be pretty good, but sadly they have a salamander too. So let's see how this will work out. Salamanders deal brutal amounts of extra fire damage, and yeah, I already took a lot of damage only fighting this guy. So I'm gonna step back and regenerate back up before I take care of the Naga warrior. But overall, this is looking pretty good. Another thing you gotta be careful about as a frail species in Snake Pit here is there are a lot of enemies that can constrict you. And big issue about constriction here is it deals damage you can't avoid. Your dodging is useless against constriction damage, and that's something you really gotta be concerned about if you're a frail species, because it's guaranteed damage, and if the Naga start surrounding you, stuff gets even worse. So here's another situation where lesser beckoning comes in handy to pull people with polearms close to you without wasting a turn and getting a free hit. Lesser Beckoning is a very, very useful spell. And look at that, there's a Scimitar of Holy Wrath. I really want to have that. That's the better option here. So let's ditch that Longsword of Holy Wrath. It's inferior. So I'm gonna train translocations until passage is usable. But somehow, so far, Snake feels easier than Swamp, which surprises me a little. But it turns out the lack of RF is not as dramatic as I imagined, because my evasion is that high and the salamanders don't hit me as regularly as I was afraid. So that's pretty cool. But the thing I'm most concerned about right now are Nagaraja and Anacondas and Naga warriors with shields. I feel like these three things are really dangerous for this character in special. So there's this artifact robe. I want to have a look-see on that. No, thank you. Dex +4, that's nothing I'm too interested in. So I was able to splat them, guys. That's cool. A scroll of brand weapon. I was waiting for that. So let's brand that quick blade. It's a quick blade of draining now. That's sad. Draining doesn't deal extra damage, although draining on a quick blade looks pretty nasty to me, because you can drain enemies really quickly with that. But wow, I'm dying to this shock serpent. Let's get upstairs. Now, I don't feel like the quick blade does enough damage with draining. Sadly, I would need another brand weapon to fix that, I feel. Because somehow this is not the ideal branding. Although it might be pretty useful against spellcasters in particular. Because you can cripple their spellcasting a lot with the draining. And there's some Anaconda, so I'm gonna go upstairs and kill off the Mamba first. Because I feel like the Anacondas I really want to take one by one. So let's eat those fruits. And where's that Anaconda? There's it. There it is. So what are my options here? Not too much. I'm gonna airstrike it a little and start whacking. So I can Vampiric Drain them as well. Vampiric Draining is a very good spell with a low HP raise. And I feel like I should learn some more Necromancy along the way. So Airstrike is at 7%. I want to keep training until I hit 4%. It's a Book of Beasts. Summon Mana Viper is really cool. But I don't have hexes or summonings. But I want to keep that book for now. Could be a handy thing to have. So now that I know of brand weapon scrolls, I don't need to carry around the quick blade all the time. Because if I stumble into another brand weapon scroll, I can easily come back and pick it up again. So there's another Anaconda. Let's go back here, turn on the regen, and yeah, Vampiric Draining doesn't do too much here. My Necromancy is too low. Yeah, so I definitely will train a little bit more of Necromancy, because I also feel like Death Channel might be a good idea to finish off the game with. It synergizes pretty well with Gozek. Like the only Necromancy spell creating minions, which is good with Gozek. Wand of Disintegration. I'm not too interested in those anymore. Gonna turn off the auto pickup for those two. MR of the enemies gets too high at this point of the game to actually use this properly. So there we are, Snake 2 done. And I one-shot the Shock Serpent. I love it. It's an interesting tile set around me here. So Airstrike is at 6%, and I feel like let's put up a training target for 7 here. I feel like that's absolutely enough. And let's wait until I hit that. Oh, there's a Guardian Serpent. That can get really ugly. Guardian Serpents can summon their allies on top of you. I'm gonna airstrike this Shock Serpent to attract it. There we go. So Passage is at 9%, but I'm not satisfied with Passage until it hits 5% or such. Mainly because it's a spell I really rely on when things get bad. And I want to have as few miscasts as possible. So let's go into Lesser Beckoning into the Salamander again. And let's go upstairs. I don't want to fight these guys and a Shock Serpent. Turns out, even with Aralek, a Shock Serpent is a really dangerous foe for me. Wow, I'm actually dying again. So, wow, I'm really dying. So let's go upstairs. That was my last heal wounds potion, which kind of sucks. Let's see what Ice Blast can do. Shock Serpents are insane. Turns out they are the most dangerous thing around so far. More dangerous than everything else I was anticipating. So my training target for Air Magic is done. And I want to kite back from this Guardian Serpent. There were a lot of baddies around there and don't want to risk getting them into the party here. So what I'm going to train next, I feel like I want to train some more stealth. Passage is at 8%, that's good. And I feel like I want to get rid of Polymorph. Enslavement is cool, I want to keep that, but Polymorph is not the thing I want to have right now. Alright, so that's a bunch of guys here. Let's take it back a little. Especially since there's a Mamba hanging around, which is equally quick to me. So there's a... Ooh, this is some really, really bad situation. I want to run away for now. It's mainly Izul I'm really concerned about. Izul is basically a more dangerous Dream Sheep. I think that summarizes it pretty well. So, looks like I shaked him off here. No, there he is. Maybe he doesn't notice me. I'm stealthy after all. Alright. And there's another Raja. Alright, so this area is really creepy. There's a Naga warrior with a shield, which is scary enough in its own rights. Mana Viper, I'm not too concerned about that. So the Guardian Serpent starts to summon people on top of me, and that's something I don't want to have. Let's beckon this Naga Mage forward, turn on the regen, kill the last guy off. I feel like my fighting against Shock Serpents really is lackluster. I feel like I really need some other option to kill them off, because meleeing them is feels super dangerous to me. The last one nearly killed me, so Maybe I'm gonna pump in some more wands into that. So there's Izul. Resistant to poison, but not immune to negative. Turns out my MR is way too high for him to sleep me. Alright. So, that's at least something. I want to acid wand this guy. The corrosion is good. Keep up the regen. And see if I can kill him. So let's repeat that. Maybe you can corrode him again. Yeah, that's cool. Alright. Yikes. This looks really concerning. Double Anaconda is really nasty. So passage is at 6%. Almost there. There's another warrior. Let's turn on regen. And he's really chunking me. Wow, that hurt. But fighting these guys is a lot more controllable than fighting a shock serpent. So let's see how this will go. Let's regen again. So let's beckon this guy close. And this is not good. So I'm gonna toss my lamp of fire in this direction to finish these two guys off really quickly. Let's beckon this guy closer and hope the flames will kill off the other guy above me really soon. I'm really concerned because the spells of the Nagaraja can really deal tremendous amounts of damage. So that's done. But I'm poisoned, constricted. Not too cool. I want to cure. The haste on this guy is really bumming me pretty hard. So let's acid wand him. I'm really getting low here. Don't like that at all. So I'm gonna toss my Phial of Floods into this guy. Double Nagaraja is actually something I don't want to face if I can avoid it. But I didn't want to blow up a teleportation scroll on that. I didn't feel like it was that dangerous to me. So let's separate the Mana Viper from the Anaconda. Good. So for 4% on passage reached. It's all I want to have. And I feel like going for some focus into necromancy now. So let's see what will notice me first. The whole bunch. Not good. Not good at all. So I do have Wand of Digging, right? Alright, good. So if stuff gets too difficult here, I can still dig my way away here. So that's what I was expecting. The Anaconda is as quick as I am, so I'm not gonna be able to run away from that. So let's acid wand this, but that first shot didn't hit anything. Yeah, got the Anaconda corroded. Corrosion helps you a lot to hit enemies easier. And I really need to get rid of this guy as quickly as possible. Alright, there we go. So there's this Shock Serpent, and I feel like Flame Wand might be good. I don't know. This lightning damage is really insane on these thingies. Maybe Vampiric Draining would be the right answer here. And there's some Ice Beast in there, which is a pretty useful spell, to be quite honest. I want to learn that. Although my aptitudes are really horrible for this spell. I'm not too sure if I'm not gonna amnesia that. Yeah, I don't think like this is a good idea. Going into ice magic like that doesn't feel too particularly good to me. I'd rather take the Mana Viper there. So let's remove that immediately. Mana Viper feels like a superior spell because my Hex's aptitude is at +2, and the Mana Vipers are really useful. So Snake 4, I come. I don't want to magic map this either. Although, oh well, let's do this. Since I'm seeing this one magic mapping scroll lying around here, it's okay. So there's the rune vault. Just flying by, stepping things, more or less. Alright. There's the Anaconda. Damn. What can I do? I can passage here. And it's quite a nice way to get rid of situations like these. I wanted some narrow corner where I don't have to fight more than one of these guys at once. Ah, wonderful. I love it when I can one-shot them. That one went down pretty easily too. So there's one of paralysis, that's cool. Enslavement might be pretty useful too, but I always prefer paralysis over enslavement, to be quite honest. I don't know why that is. So there's a hat. What do I wear? A regular +1. Maybe this is some good option here. So training necromancy also makes my rapier stronger because the pain branding interacts with your necromancy value. So I feel like for this character I will go for Death Channel and Mana Viper. I think I need both of them because against undead people you can't use Death Channel, and Mana Viper is a very good answer against liches and stuff like that. So come closer, my friends. I'm shouting to attract them into a narrow hallway here, because fighting Naga sharpshooters out in the open, even if you're having reflection, is pretty much asking to die. So again, attract them, lure them into this corridor, and get smacked horribly by this warrior. What's his weapon? It's a regular scimitar. It's pretty amazing how much damage he can do with that. Alright, but I'm winning this. Regen pretty much counters their constriction damage. And let's beckon somebody forward. It's a Handex of Distortion. Yikes. Okay. I don't like this situation too much. I really want to have the salamander first, but it looks like they're not doing me this favor here. Problem is that salamander can hit me from afar now, and this is quite bad. So I feel like ice blasting might be in order. And can I paralyze this guy? Not really. So let's try to kill off the warrior. Alright, that worked out. So let's keep luring them as good as possible, that is. Alright. So this guy will be pretty tough to kill. And it's the same thing as before. The salamander behind this guy is the real problem, so I gotta blow him up first before thinking about fighting the warrior. So I'll just regen up while kiting away. I might as well airstrike some. There we go. I'm actually surprised how much damage I do against an enemy with a large shield. More often than not, I feel like I do no damage at all. So let's beckon him forward too. Beckoning is a very useful spell if you want to get troublesome enemies close in a very quick way. And this is not good. I still want to kill off the sharpshooter before retreating, because I don't want to get struck by arbalest bolts while retreating. This is not good, but now that he's down, I can't just fight it like that. And this time, the salamander went in first. He lost his tactical sense. This is pretty dangerous, halberd and glaive, so I'm fighting this pretty slowly. But luckily the weaker Naga had the heavier weapon, so if the warrior had the glaive and the regular Naga the trident, this situation would be a lot more difficult. Alright. I'm a bit afraid of the rune wall here, to be quite honest, because I'm pretty sure that I haven't seen everything of it. And there's a book of enchantments. There's silence in it. So many good spells here. But I'm pretty happy that I summoned this bookshop for the Book of Spatial Translocations, because this is a very, very powerful book to get for a Spriggan, due to the insane aptitude in translocations these Spriggans have. Yeah, the regular Naga die like nothing here. Good, good. I think I'm gonna train stealth here until it hits 15, and then we're gonna swap over to something different. So something different. I feel like sneaking 15 should be enough. So there's a lot of money in my pocket again. And there's a guardian serpent, I don't like that. Easiest way to deal with these guys is to remove them from their allies. Oh boys, I don't like that. So this is definitely not going well. I really want to kill the sharpshooter, but I don't feel like this is gonna happen. Or is it? I can acid wand into these one more time. No. Alright, I got a blink here. And I can actually do it like that. And I feel like I want to blink again. So this hatch looks pretty good. Pulling the anaconda here. And let's put down the passage over here. Alright, that was not intentional, but not useless, as a matter of fact. So the shock serpent won't catch me. The anaconda took the portal from the passage, which I wanted to take, but I'm okay with that. I got away. It transported the anaconda away from me, which was basically the whole idea of this play. I wanted to have the anaconda away from me here. There's a shock serpent in my face. I don't like that. Alright, so it's down. Good. Let's kill off the guardian serpent next. Taking way too much damage for my taste, but it's okay. So there's another anaconda. One by one they are pretty okay. And I forget about Shroud. How silly of me. Shroud of Golubria is a very excellent spell for a Spriggan. And the way it works, it creates a percentage chance of attacks missing you, and every time it actually succeeds in evading an attack for you, it's gonna check if it's gonna break down or stay online. The chance of it negating attacks for you is about 30%-ish or something like that. Please correct me if you're smarter than me here. But as a matter of fact, since my evasion is pretty high, it has a good synergy on this character. So I should keep that up every fight. How silly of me. I had this powerful spell all the time and I didn't use it. Alright. One of the best things about Shroud is not interested how does not ask how hard a spell hits you. A swing. It will negate the attack of a Juggernaut as well as it will negate the attack of let's say a rat. It's nothing this spell takes account into how hard the attack would hit. It negates, so it's particularly good against hard-hitting enemies. That's what I'm trying to say here. Because it creates another chance for you evading the attack completely. There's a lot of Guardian Serpents in this vault here. I'm really careful with these, because so far I make it look pretty easy here, but if one of these Guardian Serpents manages to summon 2 or 3 Nagaraja right next to me, I'm pretty donezo. And I'm missing the Nagaraja so far. I've not seen a single Nagaraja on this floor, and this makes me kind of nervous. So that's why I'm taking this whole scenario really, really carefully here. So there's the next Guardian Serpent. Like I said, a ton of Guardian Serpents here. And plenty of Anaconda too. So this is dangerous. I'm gonna take the long way back here. Isolate the Guardian Serpent from its allies here. Because the way that I understand it, they need some vicinity to their allies to summon them on top of you. If you isolate them from their allies, like you've noticed, it only happened one time in this whole Snake Pit run that a Guardian Serpent managed to summon allies on top of me. And this one time was one particularly dangerous situation for me. That's why I'm taking them damn serious. So there's some Nagaraja finally. And I'm gonna kite it back a little. Pick up the gold here. Yeah, this whole thing got a lot easier since I'm using the Shroud here. There's another Guardian Serpent. But the stealth here does a lot of work for me, because I'm actually avoiding the whole time that a lot of people run into my face at once. Right now I'm pretty good at taking the enemies one by one, which works pretty decently so far. So here are the Nagaraja I was waiting for. Got chunked pretty hard so far, but should be able to finish him off. Yeah. Good. So I'm hoping that this vault is cleared pretty soon, because I'm really fighting here since a while. We should be done here at some point. Alright, Necromancy hit 8. which is really good. Increasing my necromancy value also empowers my vampiric draining and my regeneration spell. But for regeneration, it only it only lengthens the duration of the spell. Taking these Anaconda back here because I really don't want to fight two at once. But I'm really able to tackle them down if they're alone. Which is quite some improvement. So I feel like this ending is pretty Guardian Serpent biased. It's been a while since I've seen so many Guardian Serpents in one Snake Pit ending. Ooh, but these Nagaraja, they really hurt. That's why I really don't want to take more than one of these at once. This one situation there was really unfortunate. And pulling this whole vault at once looks pretty deadly to me. So as soon as I'm done here, I really want to look up how many Guardian Serpents this area had. Nah. No. I was wondering if I was able to take this fight up front, but turned out to be a bad idea. Die, Anaconda. Alright. Are we done yet? This feels like an endless ordeal here. We should be done at some point. How many snakes can there be left? Oh, turns out there's still some Anaconda in there. Brutal. When I'm done here, I really want to look up how many I killed. Of everything, I mean. So there's another Nagaraja. Let's beckon him close. Let's beckon this guy close too. I'm getting a bit more confident here because I feel like there can't be much more in there. I've killed so many people. This should be over at some point. Yeah, here we go. That's the Serpentine rune finally grabbed up. Ooh. Another big Naga party here. Let's take them back here. They will surround me eventually. It's nothing I want to have. Just keep up the Shroud. It's a bit tedious to keep Shroud of Golubria running, but it's definitely producing some safety for this character. Alright, we're done here. So I want to go for my plaza and open up another shop, maybe, or have a look-see in this. So my idea here was to, oh, this is also pretty nasty. Malign Gateway is an amazing spell, but I want to pick up the Book of Unlife because I feel like Control Undead is an option too. And yeah, that Death Channel. Definitely want to pick up Death Channel. It's such an amazing and powerful spell. But let's call another merchant. So what we're gonna call here? I feel like I want to call a jewelry boutique here. So any RF? No. Oh, yes, actually yes. Oh, perfect. This ring is nice. Int +6, stealth plus, RF. I'll take it. Thanks, Gozak. So the Ring of the Mage is really powerful too, and I don't want to drop that anytime too soon. But the +6 intelligence on this ring will help me a lot. So yeah, Death Channel's already at 28% with intelligence 28. It's really good. It's really, really good. Alright, so I'm gonna break the episode here. Next video, I think I'm gonna go for either Vaults or Swamp 4. I'm not too sure about that yet. Gonna see how this will work out. So far, I'm enjoying this run a lot. It's a very funny character, having some really good stuff online. And before we go, I just remembered that I forgot about the hat. Let's pick up that hat. I want to know what's about that. So it's a +1 hat, and let's make a fashion decision here. I feel like this one is more fitting to my clothes. Alright, that's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.